I'll try to keep you awake here for the next couple of minutes. I know how hard it is after lunch, especially in the back. It's a little dark. You want to take a nap. I feel like it as well. What Jim forgot to say is I spent those 35 years on the U.S. I know precious little about what it's like to be working in Holland. When Rob asked me to speak, which I wanted to do, my first thought was I'm going to do a blatant commercial for Snowflake because, you're used to being sold to, so what the hell, right? But he's like, they're Dutch people, they can't really handle that kind of behavior, so I had to come up with a different topic. I'll find out to put my sales pitch in there somewhere as well. But I had a topic that came to mind. I've been a CEO for the last 15 years in now 3 different companies. 2 of these companies we've taken public. Many of you use ServiceNow. You probably own data domain products as well. And now I'm again, the last 6 months, CEO of Snowflake. In those capacities, I've hired CIOs. I've also fired a whole bunch of them. Thank you very much. Probably because I didn't like them. So I want to give you a sense of the perspective of the CEO towards the CIO. You probably don't hear that often, so I'm going to give you sort of the unvarnished version. So that big dog, that is not the CIO, that's the CEO, okay? The little runt, that's you, okay? So I have very simple messages here, right? Let me try and narrate this a little bit. The first thing that I sort of want to leave you with is seek alignment. Now you're like, what the hell does that mean, seek alignment? When I hired Chris Beatty at ServiceNow, who's still the CIO over there, really good guy, I'll hire him again if I ever get the chance. When I interviewed him, I said, Chris, do you know why CIOs get fired so often? And of course, he was really intimidated by that question. He's like, holy shit, I'm in an interview here, and he's asking me why CIOs get fired. So he's like, I better not answer that question. It doesn't feel safe. And I said, well, let me answer it for you. He said, CIOs get fired because they bore the shit out of the CEO. Okay? You bore me. And CEOs live a terrifying life, right? We live in terror all day long. Terror is the normal state of being. We worry about everything. Competition encroaching on us. We have to grow. We have to employ people, we have to raise money, we got to do all these things. And then you have a CIO coming into your office, wants to talk about keeping the lights on, and what a great job he's doing that. I don't give a shit, right? I'm expecting you to do that, right? So the first thing is that, Chris, we have meetings every week. He says, we have to have conversations that engage me, right? And then his question was, well, how do I do that? Well, start by asking the question, what do I care about? What do I give a shit about? What is preoccupying me, right? Your job is to help me solve my problems. My job is not to help you solve yours, right? That's the big dog, small dog relationship here. So I've noticed that over the years, there used to be the CIO, and now there is all these other people, Chief Transformation Officer. I just came from Philips, met with one of your previous nominees and winners of the CIO of the Year Award, Tuss. That was great. I was not meeting with the CIO, I was meeting with the Chief Transformation Officer. Hint, right? So could it be that the CEO is finding other people to talk to that are more interesting? And that's why we've created all these roles, all these titles. I'm just asking the question, okay? I'm not saying it. But all these roles used to be in the CIO, more or less, right? And then we started to proliferate. And pretty soon, all that's left for the CIO is keeping the lights on, and now you're reporting 3 layers down in the organization because the CEO doesn't even want to see you in the hallway and have a conversation with you, right? This is hard. All right. The second thing is about risk. CEOs have no choice but be out on the curve on risk. We have no choice. We can't kill risk, we can't hide risk, we can manage risk, but we can't avoid it. And the conversation is talking to CIOs is often the same as talking to your chief legal counsel, to your lawyers. Lawyers try to kill risk, right? It's useless. Just advise me of the risk, don't try to kill it, because I have to take risk. So help me take risk instead of avoiding. I had a meeting A couple of weeks ago, I was the #2 guy at the Bank of America in New York, and they were like, public cloud, absolutely not, never happening. That is just an insane position to take for one of the largest banks in the world, right? It's just they want to kill risk. They just want to pretend the world is not moving and it's not happening. That's not helpful to the CEO, right? So you look at the two dogs, you know, they sit far apart in the spectrum. That's not good, right? So we have to find ways to come together, right? So understanding risk, managing risk, helping with risk is good. It's what we want. Right? This is how you stay employed, by the way. The third thing is, we only have 3 things. This is an easy presentation. Cost isn't everything. I don't wake up every day worrying about cost. If I had a business that didn't grow and growth was not an option, sure, you know, the only way to create value is to take cost out, and I know many of you are in businesses like that. There is no growth. Okay, fine, cost. But most of us, we need to grow. We have to grow, right? So in other words, you know, looking at things through the lens of cost reduction, which is what CIOs invariably do, is not helpful to me. I need to grow, right? So adopt a growth mentality, a growth orientation when you talk to people like us. Now we want to have conversations with you. So these 3 things. Now I go from the abstract now, and I'm going to put this in the context of the experience of Snowflake Computing. Contrary to popular belief, we do not sell skis, and we're not into mountaineering either, but snowflakes do fall from the cloud. We're a cloud data platform. Simply said, our ambition is to sort of become the Oracle of the cloud, minus the sales behaviors of Oracle. Okay? Yeah, you recognize that. You don't have to read this. You know, we take workloads, on-premise workloads, Teradata, Netezza, Oracle SQL Server, we bring it to the cloud. We're not a startup anymore. We're processing 350 million queries a day. Google processes about 5 billion searches a day. We're growing that at about 3x. So pretty soon we'll be in that same vicinity of where Google was at. So a lot of data management is moving to the cloud. That's really the point of this. Now, why do people do this? Why do you care, right? So number one is, I want to tell you, what's good about this, and I'm going to tell you how CIOs react and how CEOs react to this, right? Number one is scale, right? Number one benefit of the public cloud is I can address petabyte scale and larger just effortlessly. You're going to run out of money before they run out of capacity, right? Secondly, performance is now going from hours and days to seconds and minutes because I can apply unlimited amounts of compute to workloads. This is bloody amazing, huge and incredibly fast. The third thing that's amazing is it's completely elastic. I mean, I can stand up massive clusters, massive numbers of clusters, and I can use them for the duration that I need them, and then I just get rid of them. Wow, this is amazing, this is cool. Unlimited concurrency, I can run 70, 80, 100, as many clusters as I can think of executing on the same data, tens of thousands of users. Hardware is no longer limiting what I can do. And then it's a utility model, right? It's just like the energy company, you just pay by the machine second. We're all the way back to time sharing in the 1970s. We just pay for what we use. I was a SaaS guy for the longest time, software as a service. We don't license software anymore. You just buy like minutes on the cell phone, you use them, and you buy some more, right? And what people find out in the end is that they're doing 10, 20 times as much work because we're no longer constrained, on what we can do. Now, this is a very good pitch. I like it. That's why I joined the company. Now, who took on Snowflake? It wasn't the traditional CIOs, because for them it was too high risk public cloud. You just say the word public cloud, and a lot of them start sprinting out of the room. The early adopters are what we call digital companies, data-first companies, not companies with sales forces and call centers. They don't really talk to people at all. It's completely 100% software, and you probably recognize a lot of the names on here. We also scaled down all the way to zero. You didn't have to spend millions of dollars to get sort of a basic computing estate out there. So you probably recognize Picnic, certainly one of our first adopters here in Holland. Really, really great people. So they got it, they moved, they went. But a lot of times these people don't have CIOs. They have VPs of engineering, they have CTOs, and they're aggressive on the risk aspect of things. So these people came later as our customers. This is the traditional cloud. They're kind of shoveling in, and they're coming along. Well, it just shows you that the general attitude and posture towards new technologies is very different in established companies. So when Snowflake talks to CIOs, and seriously, I hear this every day of the week. It's U.S. biased. I think I've had a lot of conversations here over the last 2 days. You're a great bunch of people, and in many ways, I'm kind of energized and really feeling good about the conversations I had here. But the number one thing is, we need to modernize. Right? I have workloads running on really old shit. Bringing it forward to the cloud gives me all the benefits that we just discussed. So it's a lot of lifting and shifting, and you get exhausted just talking about the topic, but we got to go and do it. Existing workloads to the cloud. The second thing is, the lens of cost. I'll do it, but I want to save money. How much money do I save, right? I was the CIO of an extremely large insurance company the other day in New York, and it was all about how much of my Oracle estate can I take out, and how much can I save, right? That is the conversation that they want to have. I don't find that particularly exciting, but they do. And a risk, right? It's always about which data sets, am I going to move first, right? I tell you, there's one word or one abbreviation that CIOs find incredibly scary word. It's called PII, right? You say PII, they also start sprinting for the doors because that's the scariest data of them all. But PII is also the data that is typically the most impactful to the business. So saving money, avoiding risk, modernization. Now, we go to the Big Dawg. The conversation is different. It's really dramatically different. And it doesn't have to be the CEO. Oftentimes, these are people that are running business units and businesses inside larger enterprises. Instead of modernization, we're talking about transformation. A very different word. Like, what can I do differently to grow faster, destroy my competition, change the balance of power? This is the stuff that's between the ears of the CEO. That's the conversation that we want CIOs to have with us. And we're looking at new things, right? Instead of saving money, we're thinking about making money. That's what we want to talk about, making money, not saving money, right? You can save money, that'd make my day, but we want to make money. And when it comes to risk, right, let's not go for the safest bet. Let's go for the most impactful bet, right? So I'm telling you this to give you a sense of this is really what we're experiencing out there, but you sort of want to make your dialogue, your relationship with the CEO more energizing, more interesting. Instead of them asking you to give you money back, they're going to start throwing money at you, right? Because if you got something that I want to throw money at you because I want it, and I want to buy it, right? So the CEO starts throwing money at you, now you know you're doing it right. They want money from you, not as good a conversation. So this is really what I'm suggesting you give some consideration to. Let's just be pals. Let's have alignment. Let's talk the same language, right? Let's be single purpose, right? And I think we'll be happier as the big dogs, and I think the little runts will be doing a lot better too. That's all I wanted to share with you today. Thank you very much, and have a good afternoon.
Thank you, Frank.